We're going to turn to the Rambam in Hilchos Tainis. Hilchos Tainis is very interesting. It's in the end of Sefer Zemanim. The second to last halachas, right before Hilchos Megillah. And Chanukah is Hilchos Tainis. So the Rambam writes in the end of Hilchos Tainis, the famous Rambam we're going to learn together. Zok the Rambam, Kol Hatzeimis Ha'elu. It's the last halacha in Hilchos Tainis. Kol Hatzeimis Ha'elu, all these fasts, Asidin li botel in Meis HaMashiach, are eventually not going to exist anymore when Moshiach comes. They're going to be bottled. And not only that, they're eventually going to be a Yom Tiv and days of joy.
353.
Right here.
353.
Oh, okay.
So the Rambam says three things. He says they're going to be bottled when Moshiach comes. Not only that, they're going to be a Yom Tiv and they're going to be Sosim V'Simcha. Shenema, where do we see this in the pasuk? Kei Omar Hashem's voice. So Hashem says, Soim Horevi V'tzei Machamishi V'tzei Mashvi V'tzei Ma'asiri. The four fast, the fast of the fourth month, which is Tammuz, Shivas Tammuz, and the fifth month is Tisha B'av, and the seventh month, same Gedalia, and same Masiri is Asar B'Tevis. Yiyeh Lebeis Yehuda, it's going to be for the Yidden, L'sosein, U'lesimcha, U'lemeadim Tevim. That they're going to be, instead of being fast days, they're going to be days of joy and days of Yom Tov. Beautiful. So there is a sikh of the Rebbe's medayik, the Rambam's double lashon. He says, Kol, in the beginning of the halach, he says, Kol atzim eso'edul asidin li bottle. They're going to be bottle. And not only that, they're going to be a Yom Tov. Why does the Rambam have to say it, such a long terminology? He could have said straight out, like the pasuk. They're going to be sosim v'simcha. They're going to be days of joy. So there's a sikh of the Rebbe where the Rebbe explains. Automatically they'll be bottled. So the Rebbe explains that we know the Rambam Shita is that the Rambam Shita is a machlekes in the Gemara. If a Mashiach comes, there's going to be a change of nature, or the world's still going to remain the same nature. It's going to remain a natural world. It's just, we're not going to have stress. We'll be able to serve Hashem properly. The Rambam Shita is the world is going to remain a natural world. We're just not going to have any stress when Mashiach comes. We'll be able to serve Hashem properly. Later on, the Rambam agrees that later on there will be miracles. Eventually there will be Tchias HaMeisim. So the Rebbe has a whole sikh about that the Rambam holds there's two tkufis. There'll be two stages. The first stage is the world will remain the normal world. And then once we do a lot of Torah mitzvahs, this will cause to become a second stage of Tchias HaMeisim and a whole bunch of miracles.
Does it say how much time between the two?
No.
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, usually it says they were connected to what it says in Zohar, 40 years.
Oh. Okay.
That later the Rebbe change, like whatever, after 40 years it could be much less. Zohar.
But you're saying if in a normal situation where Yidden aren't doing what we're supposed to be doing, it's going to take 40 years of proper work. If we didn't do anything in Golus, then we have to have 40 years in Mashiach's times. So there the Rebbe explains the Sikha, the Rebbe explains that's the double terminology in the Rambam. Kol atzei maseilu asidin li botel meis HaMashiach is halacha. Because in the first stage, where the world is going to be a normal world, natural world, everything's going to be nature, all we're going to have is that the fasts are going to stop. We're not going to fast anymore. But they're not going to be Yom Tov. The Lo Yed is another halacha. Not only that, Elo Shem Asidin. It's another. The Ram starts off Kol Atzem Esoilu Asidin Li Bottle. They're eventually going to be bottle. V'lo Yoid Elo Shem Asidin. They're eventually, meaning on the second stage, they're going to become Yom Tov. So these are taki according to the Rambam. The Rebbe says the two stages fit also in Seimis. That the first stage there'll be no fast, but there won't be a Yom Tov. The second stage is when they're actually going to turn into a Yom Tov.
When is the second stage?
Depending on
is that the same second stage that we're talking about before?
Yeah, Tchias HaMeisim, all the good things.
Talking about that same stage?
Yeah. This is the Rebbe's Sikha. This is like what the Rebbe says. But today I saw something in addition to that Sikha, a new diuk in Tavshin Mem Beis. The Rebbe says a merdik diuk in the second stage itself, a question that till now I never saw anyone pay attention to. A merdige Sache. If we look in the pasuk jumps to the second stage. What does the pasuk say? Koi Omar Hashem Tzvois. All these fasts, Yil Beis Yehuda, what are they going to be? L'sasin u'l'simcha, the days of joy, u'lemeadim tevim and Yom Tov. So the pasuk first says sasin l'simcha and then meadim tevim. If we look in the lashon of the Rambam says not only that, they're going to be Yom Tov and days of sasin l'simcha. The Rambam switches with the lashon of the pasuk. The Rambam puts first Yom Tov and then sasin l'simcha. The pasuk says first Moyadim Tovim, which is Yom Tov, and then first Sasin v'Simcha and then Moyadim Tovim. So the Rambam is really saying it the opposite order of the pasuk. So the Rebbe explains in the Sikha, the Rebbe says that there's a difference between Yom Tov and Sasin v'Simcha. Yom Tov means a day of Yom Tov. The whole day is a Yom Tov. When is the Sasin and Simcha? The Gemara tells us, Ein Simcha elo bebasar, Ein Simcha elo b'yayin. Simcha comes when you have the Sudas Yom Tov. Then you're actually eating meat, you're eating challah, you're drinking wine. Wine, that brings the Simcha. That means in the Yom Tov itself, there is the climax of the Yom Tov is the Simcha. So that's the Seder of the Rambam. The Rambam says first they're going to be Yom Tov. It's going to go ala Seder. First there'll be a Yom Tov. And then eventually we're going to reach Yemei Sasin v'Simcha. We're going to reach the climax that they're going to become Sasin v'Simcha. And here in this Sikha, the Rebbe is saying that means even when they're being transformed, there's two stages in how it's going to be transformed. First, it's going to be transformed into a Yom Tov. The days of fast are going to be a Yom Tov. And then eventually they'll be transformed to such a stage where Yemei Sasin v'Simcha, the fast will be, the whole fast day will be like when we're eating the Su'udah of Yom Tov. The Sasin v'Simcha. The Rebbe says,
Three stages.
So there's three stages. It means in the second stage itself.
Why does difference say there?
In the pasuk.
Oh, the Rebbe's going to get that. The Rebbe says, Al Pi Chassidus, the Rebbe says it a little, Al Pi Chassidus, the difference between Yom Tov and Sasin v'Simcha, Al Pi Nigla, it's the day or the time when we eat. Al Pi Chassidus, Yom Tov or Moyed means a set time. It's a day, it's a set time. Moyed means a set time. That means the Simcha is limited. Simcha paired together. Simcha has no limitations. So first will be a Yom Tov, will be a limited Simcha, and then will be Yemei Sasin v'Simcha. It will be a Simcha, mean will have no limitations at all. So why does the pasuk say it in the opposite? So the Rebbe explains that this has to do with the two ways that the Geula could come in. We know the Geula could come in a way of Loi Zachu or in a way of Zachu. Either the Geula could come because the time came. We don't have this chusn. It's not because of us. It's because the time, the Rebbe says, when it comes the year 6,000, or whatever the time is, then that's the be'ita. Then the Geula has to come. Somewhere between now and 6,000. Be'ita, there's a time where the Geula has to come. If it comes in a eifin of Loi Zachu, the Gemara says, then it says Moshiach will come on a donkey. Then everything will be in a natural way. If it comes through Zachu, because we're doing extra mitzvahs, and therefore we cause the Geula to come extra early, then Moshiach will come on a cloud. That's what the Gemara says. So based on that, the Rebbe says, that's the difference between the Pasuk and the Rambam. The Pasuk is speaking when it's going to be in a way of Zachu, when we're Zeicha. When we're Zeicha, we're going to jump straight to the highest stage. So then we're going to jump straight to Sasin v'Simcha. And this Sasin v'Simcha, the Rebbe says, will come down into Me'adim Tovim, will come down into, meaning the Simcha that has no limitations, will come down into the limitations of the Me'adim Tovim. But we're going to jump to the Sasin v'Simcha.
It says it's higher, so we're going to lower.
So what it means is we're going to jump to the highest level, and the highest level will then be drawn down into the lower levels too. Whatever that means.
Whatever it means. You're right.
Yeah. But the Rebbe says it a lot of times. This concept.
Not only being this at a higher level, you're mamshech at a higher level. Not only you're oile to shamayim, you're mamshech alakus into the world.
Right.
Das ist nicht das Wort. Das ist nicht das Wort. It's an achois darget based on what we said before. As the Sasin v'Simcha, the hecher b'yim, it's not just bringing it down to this world. It's a lower darget b'chlal.
Yeah. It must be that a Yid never goes down. So the Yid is taking the higher level and bringing that higher level into the lower level. The Rambam is speaking in the situation of Lo Zochu. And in the case of Lo Zochu, there's many stages. First, it's stops. Then we come to the level of Yom Tiv. And then we come to the level of Sasin V'Simcha. That brings the dogma that it says that a person is not supposed to go to a fast day right after Shabbos. Because Shabbos is a day where you eat extra, and then from extra eating you go down directly. You're not supposed to take a jump. It means when the world is running naturally, we're not supposed to take a jump from one extreme to another extreme.
We do that though.
Yeah, but by the yeah, there are situations we do it, but by the people that come to the Beis Hamikdash for the Moyados, for the Israelim that come to be by the Karbonis, so they fast Monday to Thursday. They don't fast on Sunday. The Gemara explains because we don't want you to jump from a day of eating extra to a day of fast. So similar to that, also the way it works is it's a fast day, and then it works step by step. No, it's not a fast day. Then it's a Yom Tov. Then it's a Yimei Saseh V'Simcha. This the Rebbe speaks Parichas in Chilach of Zayin. This concept that according to the Rambam in Sefer Hayad in general is going with in Parshas Bechukosai. Is going with the Shita of Lo Zochu. It means the Rambam, whenever the Rambam is speaking about the Geula, he's telling us the minimum. What's going to have to be, no matter what, the minimum, it's going to have page 204. Is going to have to be in a case of, even if Lo Zochu, what's going to have to happen. That's why the Rambam starts off the Geula that the world is going to run according to nature. This that it says in the pasuk, "V'gor ze'evim keves," that the wolf and the lamb will be able to live in peace. The Rambam tells us in Sefer Yad that it's a moshel. It's a moshel v'chida. It's a moshel that the goyim that are wicked, and the Yidden will be able to live in peace. The Rambam himself in Igeres Chiyas HaMeisim says that this that I wrote in my Sefer Yad, it doesn't have to be that way. It could be that it's going to happen literally. Well, what does it mean? So why in Sefer Yad are you saying that it's a moshul, and then in the same Rambam tells us it doesn't have to be that way. It could be that it's going to be literal. So the Rebbe explains that's the difference. The difference is, are we zochu or we're lo zochu? They're both right. If we're lo zochu, on the lowest level, it's going to happen in a moshul because everything's going to be natural. So it's going to be the world. The animals aren't going to change. Their nature isn't going to change. What's going to happen is the world is going to run normal. It's going to be a normal civilized world.
And at the lowest level, the animals are still going to kill each other.
But the animals their nature is not going to change, yes? It's just a moshul for people, but the animals aren't going to change. The Rambam in Geras Chiyas HaMeisim says it doesn't have to be that way. What does he mean? He means that if we are Zeiche, so then we're going to jump to the second stage where there's going to be actual miracles. And then, Take, it's going to happen kipshute that even the animals will be affected right in the beginning when Moshiach comes. So in this Sikha, the Rebbe goes on to explain many cases where we see how the Rambam is speaking how the world in Sefer Hayad, in Halacha, how the world is going to be, even on the lowest level, what's going to have to be no matter what. Because the Rambam in Sefer Halachas can't tell us things which not necessarily is going to happen, because it's a Sefer of Halacha. So he tells us the bare minimum. The bare minimum is that the world will be a civilized world. We won't have stress. That's for sure going to happen. Are miracles going to happen? That depends on our avodah. That no one knows. That's all up to us. Hakol b'dei shamayim chutz yim yirei shamayim. That's our free choice.
And based on what we said before,
Yeah.
the three dargas,
Yeah.
it's lo zochu, right?
It's all lo zochu.
But it's going to happen at the end.
Yeah.
But the highest darga will happen at the end.
Right.
So Mel of God's Evim Keves could actually happen. It's at the back that the animals will change their way.
Yeah.
But not right away, but it'll happen later.
Yeah, he's asking a very good question. He's saying, so if eventually all the things are going to happen kipshute, so why in Sefer Hayat, true, it's lo zochu, but why can't the Rambam explain that it's going to be literally, but it's going to be literally on a second stage, in a further stage? I remember the Rebbe himself asking that question somewhere. I remember the Rebbe is answering because that pasuk is speaking on in an earlier stage. That's why the Rambam has to say it's a motion. It's speaking in the earlier stage. Yeah.
This pasuk here speaks in the later stage.
I'm sorry?
This pasuk here speaks in the later stage.
Yeah, this pasuk is speaking.
Zochu.
The pasuk is
Zochu.
clearly speaking zochu, and therefore it's going to happen right away. The pasuk is speaking in a case where Yidden are zochu. The Rebbe gives another dogma is we find the contradiction: is the Beis Hamikdash going to come down from Shamayim, or are we going to build a Beis Hamikdash? Moshiach going to build a Beis Hamikdash. So if you look in the Midrashim, it says it's going to come down from Min HaShamayim. If you look in the Rambam says we're going to build it through Moshiach. The Rebbe says it's the same answer. If we're going to be Zeicha, we do extra, so then it's going to come down Min HaShamayim. We're going to be Zeicha to miracles. If we're not going to do extra, so then it's what the bare minimum is. We're going to have to build a Beis Hamikdash. It's going to come through Mashiach.
No, the Rebbe has different types regarding that. The business come down, but put the doors on.
Yeah, that's a different answer.
It's a different answer.
But over here, the Rebbe is going with this mahalach. So in the Sikha, the Rebbe continues in the Sikha. Back to Tovshim and Beis. The Rebbe continues over there, and the Rebbe says. I just want to finish off what over here the Rebbe says. The Rebbe explains is why, according to the Rambam, if the Rambam is speaking Lo Zachu, so why in the second stage is there going to be miracles? Because the moment Mashiach comes, we are going to start doing Torah mitzvahs. We're going to be Zachu. So eventually, because of our Zachu, that's going to bring the second stage of the miracles. So and the point is that the miracles are going to come through us doing extra Torah mitzvahs. If we do it in Golus, we'll have it right away. The miracles. If we don't do it in Golus, then we'll do it when Mashiach comes, then we'll have it in the second stage. So the Rebbe speaks in Chilul Chav Zayin. Going back to Tovshim and Beis, the Rebbe over there says, the word from the Rebbe Rashab. The Rebbe Rashab says that Chatoif v'achil chatoif ushti. The Gemara tells us that when you come to a chasana, you have to chaperein. There's food now. Eat. Not every day is there a chasana. Chatoif, grab and eat, grab and drink. Soon the party will be over. So the Rebbe Rashab says now that we're in Ikvis the Mashiach, right before Mashiach comes. So usually there's a Seder Mesudar. Usually everything is in an order. But now we say everything's Hashkacha Pratis. If something comes to you, grab it and do it. We shouldn't push things off. The Rebbe says, for example, if a Yid comes and the Yid is on a very low level, so we're supposed to we're supposed to right away say, come put on tefillin, come hear Megillah, jump, let him jump from where he is to a very high level. That is that in our generation we're supposed to do this jump. We have this, even though in general, even now there's a seder, but there are this extra concept that we're supposed to do this extra jump.
How
So
is that a jump even?
Huh?
How is that a jump? A yid has a mitzvah. Yeah, you could say it's a jump to say that a yid who's on a low level should try to go to high levels of chassidus. That's a jump. That's grabbing. But to tell a yid who's not from to just do a mitzvah, he has to do the mitzvah regardless of what level he's on.
So beautiful. Yeah.
So now, how's that?
That's beautiful. Yeah.
The jump is for us who is already from and has to
Very
find.
nice. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah.
Come at Tzaddik, to jump to all these Madreikas.
The tzaddik looks at all of us and says, "Why is it a jump? You guys should all be a tzaddik." It's like so simple.
No,
Right. But for the people that aren't on the level of a tzaddik, it's a jump. So for
the Beinoni who's working on his low level of being a Beinoni has to jump to a higher level.
The yellow cab driver dropped off a shocking of mine on President Street, and he's outside in the street, already filling out. The cab door's open, and the guy who is the passenger is putting on tefillin with the driver, and on the street in open daylight.
right, beautiful.
It's so geschmack to see. I mean, for a cab driver to take off from his time to put on tefillin.
Right.
He's running always, trying to make a living.
So the Rebbe says, by us now taking this extra jump, that will cause also, that will, like the zochu, that's the extra jump that we do, that will cause that the geula should also come in with that extra jump.
The Rebbe gives it with the examples of what the jump is.
The Rebbe says, the example is what it says, if you see someone, kisira orim, you see someone that's not wearing clothes, you should put him on clothes. And the Medrash says that means if he's lacking a mitzvah, you should put him on a mitzvah. So the Rebbe says that's the jump that our generation has. I mean, for us, it's not such a big jump because I'm asking the person, but for that person, it's a very big jump to actually jump from where he is and grab mitzvahs that are that he's not.
But this is in addition to what he didn't have to do in previous times. In previous times, he had to do the same thing.
I don't know.
Someone who was arum,
I'm with you.
That would apply also 200 years ago.
I'm with you. It's very interesting that there's a sikha of the Rebbe in that same year, that there was a fellow that was speaking that Yidden are chas v'shalom going to remain in Golus for another 2,000 years. And the Rebbe spoke very sharp in the sikha. The Rebbe spoke that how could you say such a thing? It says the world is only, the maximum is 6,000 years. It means it's not going to be more than 6,000 years. Then it's Elef Hashvi, it's for sure Geula. Yemei Moshiach and Tchias HaVeisim is all before 6,000. You can't say such a thing that we're Chas V'Shalom going to be in Golus another 2,000 years. But then the Rebbe spoke about Achakale B'chol Yom Sheyaveh. That there are those that want to say Achakale B'chol Yom Sheyaveh means we're waiting for Moshiach. B'chol Yom, every day. Sheyaveh, that he should come whenever he's meant to come. So we're waiting for him to come. Achakale B'chol Yom, comma. Sheyaveh, that you should come. Like a person is waiting for something to happen. But it should happen whenever it's meant to happen. So the Rebbe says it's not the true pshat. And the Rebbe says the proof is because in davening we say, we're not telling Hashem, bring Mashiach whenever you're comfortable, make him come. But actually Hashem wants from us is that we should demand from him, Mashiach should come speedily. It means we are supposed to want Mashiach to come speedily. So the Rebbe says the Taich in Achakale B'chol Yom Sheyaveh, Achaka means you're waiting. If you're waiting for something, you can't be waiting for something that it should come whenever it's in the mood. If you're waiting, that means you want it to come now. So Achakale B'chol Yom, I'm waiting for Mashiach every day. Sheyaveh, that he should come when? B'chol Yom. The B'chol Yom is going on both. It's Achakale B'chol Yom, I'm waiting for him every day. Sheyaveh, that he should come when I'm waiting for him now. Not whenever he wants. So there the Rebbe spoke very strongly in the union of Achakale B'chol Yom Sheyaveh. So when Reb Pinchas Menachem Alter, he was then the brother of the Gerer Rebbe. Later he himself became the Gerer Rebbe. But then he was the Rosh Yeshiva of the Gerer Rebbe's yeshiva. So he came to America and he had Yechidus with the Rebbe. So when he had Yechidus with the Rebbe was asking him how his brother's feeling. He said, my brother's feeling okay, but he said he's not feeling well. He said he actually came to America for that purpose, for 2 weeks, that he should be able to rest. That's why he came to America. So then the Rebbe started speaking to him, are you collecting money? Are you doing anything to collect money for the yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael, Yerushalayim? So he said, actually, no, he's coming just to rest up. And there's other people that could do a better job than him in that field. That's not his field. But the Rebbe was telling him, but you should know, when you come, because he's the Rosh Yeshiva and the brother of the Gerer Rebbe, people will give more money. It has nothing to do with his... people automatically will be giving more money.
If what?
If he comes to they make a special banquet for donating money to the yeshiva of the Gerer Rebbe's yeshiva Sfas Emes in Yerushalayim, people were giving more money in his honor.
He came to America to collect money, or just
no, he didn't come to collect money, and the Rebbe was pushing him that he should utilize the opportunity to get Yidden. So the Rebbe is to get Yidden to give more tzedakah.
Right.
So the Rebbe said, what I want to bring out is, the Rebbe said first what the Frierdiker Rebbe said. Frierdiker Rebbe said that when you come to a Yid and you ask him for tzedakah, you're not just asking for tzedakah for whatever cause that you're asking for. You're actually asking the benefit of the person himself. Because it's their benefit to give tzedakah. But the Rebbe said that his inyan is the geula. The Rebbe's koch is the geula. Like the Rebbe says that people are coming with tainus, the Rebbe says that he wants the geula to come now. People are coming with tainus to him. The truth is, it's not a tainus on him, it's a tainus on the Torah. But the Rebbe said, I'm so proud that the tainus is on me, because that's a siman that I'm the one that's koching in the geula. Because when they have a problem, how could you say Mashiach is supposed to come today? Who are they blaming? Not the Torah. They're blaming the Lubavitcher Rebbe. So the Rebbe is taking it as a compliment that he's koching in the geula, that when someone has something wrong with it, they have tainus on the Lubavitcher Rebbe. So the Rebbe says he takes it as a compliment. The Rebbe says he tries to connect everything with the geula. So the Rebbe says, the geula is going to come in the schus of tzedakah. So the Rebbe tells the Pinchas Menachem Alter that if you have a chance to get the Yidden in America, the Rebbe started speaking about the greatness of the Yidden in America. It's known that Yidden of all the time, the Yidden in America were known for their chesed. The Rebbe was saying even in Russia and when they were having starvation, and who supported the Yidden then was the Yidden in America. Ad Kidei Kach, the Rebbe says in another sikha that it's known that the world stands on three feet: Torah, Avodah, and Gemilas Chasad. So the Rebbe says, once upon a time, Poland, Russia, Europe was holding the world up with Torah and Aveda, the Shtiblach, and the people sat and learned and davened the whole day. And America held the world up with the tzedakah.
Wow.
So it was divided in different countries. The Rebbe said, after the Holocaust, we don't have Europe to give us the Torah and Aveda. So now America has to have all three. So now we have to start having yeshivas and a lot of shuls in America, because now America, we can't just stay with our tzedakah. We need also the Torah and Aveda. But America was always known for the Ma'ila of tzedakah. So the Rebbe was telling the Pinchas Menachem Alter, you have a chance to take these Yidden and get them to give tzedakah and bring the Gula faster for them and for you, for everybody. And you're not going to use the opportunity. So the Rebbe saw him as a way to get Yidden to give more tzedakah in the Rebbe's eyes, giving it, that's a way to bring the Gula faster.
Can you utilize the opportunity?
And the Rebbe finished off that the Rebbe asks Mechila if the Rebbe pushed him for certain things, but the Rebbe says, I still don't regret it because I feel it's very important. I'm sure he listened. Sure.
Yeah, let's summarize what you're saying.
So there's different levels of the Gula. If we're Zeicher, so then all the greatest things happen right away, and that's what the pasuk is speaking about. Right away we'll be Zeicher to Sosim V'Simcha, to the highest levels. But if we're not Zeicher, so then we have to take things stage by stage. First have to have the lower stage, Shekoyah, then the higher stage, and then and eventually we'll be Zeicher, and then we'll get to the highest stage of Sosim V'Simcha. So it's up to us. If we want to, a lot of things are up to us. Everything's up to us, actually. Ah?
We use the Lashon a lot of times.
Yeah.
So
But in everything there's many levels. It could be Zeicha and Zeicha and Zeicha. The Rebbe says that everything is up to us.
To want Moshiach, like, every day you're checking. Did I get the email? Did I get it yet? Did I get it yet?
Yeah, like people are always looking at the phones. We should always be looking. In that Sikha, the Rebbe said a Merdi Gezach, because the guy that was speaking against Yidden, against the Geula, brought the Chofetz Chaim in also, like a support to what he was saying. The Rebbe was saying, the Chofetz Chaim. The Rebbe was saying, if you know who he was, you're going to take him in your garbage. And the Rebbe was saying, the Chofetz Chaim was against Lashon Hara, only saying positive, and you're taking him into all your garbage. The Rebbe was like, how could you do such a thing?
It's very into Chakle B'chol Yom Shia. The
Yeah,
Chofetz
yeah.
Chaim, there's a whole bunch of smices and stories.
It's very interesting with that Yechidus the Rebbe had with the Gerer Rebbe. The Rebbe spoke why the first thing when two Yidden meet they say Shalom. It's always Shalom. The Torah actually begins with a base for bracha. It means you're supposed to start with a bracha. But over here we choose to start with Shalom. So the Rebbe says the truth is it says Eisa Shalom Uveiris Hakel. Shalom is the kli for all the brachas. So if you say Shalom, that actually is going to bring down all the brachas. So when we say Shalom, we're also being Peschem bebracha, because Shalom brings down all the brachas. And then the Rebbe said, what happened? Every Yid has a chelik of the Eibishter. But the Eibishter took all the Yidden and put them in a guf and made them all different. When two Yidden meet, we want to bring out that even though we look different, but Shalom. Peace means two things that look different, and you're putting them back together. And that's the first thing when two Yidden meet together, we bring out what we really have in common. That there's really Shalom between us.
What year was this, Yechidus?
Tovshim and Beis. And the Rebbe spoke over there, it says,
Yeah.
When Menachem was Membeis?
Yeah.
There's the Chaim tonight for
Noach, well,
Neach Vogel.
Yeah, I'm going to go over.
What was this last thing you're saying? That there's Shalom?
When two Yidden meet, the first thing we say is Shalom.
Right.
Because when two Yidden meet, we look different. And we have to bring out that even though we seem different, there's really Shalom between us. We're really all in the same boat. We're really all Yidden.
And that's the brachos.
And that brings down all the brachas automatically.
Where does the Rebbe say this?
The Rebbe says it to Tovshim and Beis, to the Pinchas Menachem Alter.
Oh, not in the Sikha.
No, in the Yechidus.
Oh. It's written now.
Yeah, the Rebbe gives the dogma from the Sefer Torah. Sefer Torah mir de gezach. Every ois in the Sefer Torah has to be separate. Every ois has to have its own white, the gvil that surrounds it. It means each one has to be a separate identity. On the at the end of the day, you take all the oises of the Sefer Torah, you wrap it around, and you put them with one mantle. It means you're saying everything is one. So if everything is one, you should have just mished it together. No. You can't mish. If one letter is touching another, it's puzzle. That this brings out that by the two opposites that we have. On one hand, every person is their own identity, and you can't mix people. You have to let them be who they are. But at the same time, we have to know that even though we're all different, we're really all one. Yeah.
I want
Whatever
to say
says
about Europe, that there was a Torah and here was Synagogue. When was that? Was it Sikha or was it
it's in the early years. The sikh in the early years. Yeah.
And the Lashon when he said Achakale b'chol yom sheyovei, you hear the Rebbe screaming. He says Sheker Gomer.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Lashon.
Yeah.
Sheker Gomer.
Yeah. It's interesting, the Rebbe over there says that it says in the end of Soita that before Moshiach comes, every day will be worse than the day before. There'll be it's not going to be good. So the Rebbe asked Pinchas Menachem Alter, what's the Gemara telling us? It's letting us know how terrible it's going to be.
Or Pinchas was the Ger.
The Ger Rebbe's brother then, he was the Rosh Hashiva. So Rebbe says, the point of the Gemara is that we shouldn't be in shock. When things are very difficult, we're going to say, what's happening? It's not normal. So Gemara lets us know beforehand that first of all, this is normal. We should expect it. That there should be difficulties right before Mashiach comes is normal. So we shouldn't think that there's something abnormal. We got to hit over, with something not normal. And the way to take care of it is by bringing in a lot of brachas. If there's a lot of the opposites, so we got to bring in a lot of brachas.
That's why I'm saying Shalom Aleichem.
And when you say shalom, you bring down all the brachas. Yeah. Two yidden, just say shalom. That already brings down the bracha. Especially when you realize what shalom means. Shalom means that even though we're seemingly different and we are different, but we really have something in common. We're each a yid. So it's a very deep concept.